So can you tell us about your background, like growing up in Flint, and what kind of music you listened to growing up?
Well, in Flint, you had AM stations, which were the strong stations to start with, because FM, when we first started, listening to radio, there was no FM choice.
Yeah.
Actually, so it was all the AM stations, and so the bands would listen to the music, of course, played on AM stations, and then we would try to emulate that music at these hops, and the disc jockeys, the guys who were actually spinning the records, would hire us to play at the hops, and we would get to, practice being on stage and having a real audience. So that's how we got started.
What were the main artists that you listened to?
Well, we used to listen to a radio program out of Nashville, Tennessee. It was WLAC, and it was the Royal Crown Hairdressing Show. And on this Royal Crown Hairdressing show, it was the disc jockey was John R., and he would say, "This is John R., way down south in Dixie." He really had it, and we loved his choice in the blues, and in R&B, but mostly blues stuff that we listened to back then, and loved the bottleneck and stuff that we heard. But it came in after 11 o'clock at night on the AM radio.
Oh, yeah.
And Skip. Yeah, it was Skip. So, but it was a ritual. And we would have bologna, sweet onion, and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And listen to the blues.
And how did you first get into playing, like guitar and keyboards?
Well, guitar was, my mother got me 6 lessons and rented a flat-top guitar from a music store in Flint, Michigan.
Oh.
And I took 3 of the 6 lessons, and the guitar instructor had a hunting accident, shot himself with a 12 gauge, and he called my mom and told her, he couldn't teach anymore, and that I could go and watch the guys in the school band in the high school. And because I was learning pretty fast by ear, and taking out of what he was teaching me.
Yeah.
And he thought that I could do it, and I did. And my buddies helped me learn how to play, how to cipher what it was that I was playing. Yeah, it was a good journey. Same with piano, though, Tom, or keyboards. I actually learned how to play keyboards on a organ. I taught myself how to play Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. And I learned on Jim Atherton's mom's organ. It was a Lowry organ that she had in her living room. And I could play that thing and do the foot pedals at the same time, so they all really liked it. And I did too, man. But the more they liked it, the better I played it,
Yeah.
I wanted to make it shine. And the audience helps me achieve every time I play music, the audience feeds me, and then we give it back to them.
You get energy from the audience, right?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how did Terry Knight and the Pack, how did that come about?
Terry Knight was a disc jockey in Flint at WTAC. But he had already spent some time on CKLW in Windsor, Ontario, which was like a 50,000-watt station, was a big station. And anyways, we wondered why he would come back to a smaller station in Flint. But anyway, he wanted a band, and long story short, the Jazz Masters, minus me, were already established. Terry told them that he would like to have them for his band, and he wanted to stand up and sing in front of them, do his music, and they would learn his, and that's what happened. So they learned, and then, Vietnam was in full swing, and Herm Jackson, the bass player, And
Ah,
they contacted me and said, Farner, can you sub in here because Herm got drafted? We need a bass player. Well, at that point, I had not played bass, but I knew I could because I played tuba from the time I was in 5th grade till the 8th grade. So I had that bass thing in my
oh
car.
yeah.
Yeah. So I switched up and did played bass guitar with Terry Knight and the Pack, and then there was a natural evolution out of that. Terry broke away and did his own thing with a horn section, and I don't know, he had a dozen people in his band, but that's the way he went, and we went as the Pack, or the Fabulous Pack.
And you became the lead vocalist at that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I just saw on YouTube, I was watching Wide Tracking.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dick Wagner wrote that. God rest his soul. Well, Dick Wagner was more noted for his guitar work on Alice Cooper records.
Ah,
And he wrote Only Women Bleed, Dick Wagner did.
oh yeah.
He was a great musician out of the state of Michigan. But he wrote Wide Tracking, and we do a memorial concert for Dick Wagner every year, every February. And this year, the proceeds went to the Flint Hurley Hospital for the music therapy, where they have board certified therapists that go in and they leave instruments with these kids, and they leave them playing music with each other, and they come back and check on them, and it's a great program, you know.
Yeah.
It helps them through the hard time, and that's what Dick Wagner was all about. And I was glad to help him out this year. But he's the one that wrote Wide Tracking, and then we went on from there. You know, it was a short-lived deal. We had a guy from Pontiac that was actually wanting to front the band and do some stuff, but then somehow his job switched internally in the company, and that's the last we saw of him.
How did the Pack kind of morph into what became Grand Funk Railroad?
Well, we were on the road in Cape Cod, staying in summer cottages. It was winter. It was cold, and the worst snowstorm in the history of the world hit out there on the East Coast, and we were socked in for 2 weeks. And we had the pipes froze. We had been out, you know, guys from Michigan, this is the first time we've ever seen an ocean, and we were just on the channel side. We didn't get on the ocean side of it, and we were just having a ball on the channel side. But anyway, all of the stuff that we collected was floating in the basements because of this storm that came, and then the pipes froze, and then oh my gosh, yeah, it was a bad scene. So two of the guys were married, and their wives were very unhappy with them not being able to call or whatever, and threatened to divorce them and everything. So Don and I said, you know what, we need to start a band without any women involved. We can't have no married dudes, you know. And that's what we did. We were looking, found Mel in Bay City. He was rehearsing with Question Mark and the Mysterians, and they took a break, and I asked Mel if he wanted to join Don and he said, yeah, he was looking for the opportunity to make a break from what he was doing.
For the sake of listeners that don't know the answer to this, how did Grand Funk Railroad get their name?
Terry Knight actually had a song that he wrote called Grand Funk Railroad.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, I don't know what the storyline is or what it entails, but I did like the title of it. And when he recommended that the band use his song title, Grand Funk Railroad, for a name, it just seemed to be the right time for all of us, and we all agreed that that's kind of a fun name.
Yeah.
We could do some stuff with that, and we adopted it.
And it came from Grand Trunk Railroad, right?
Yes,
in
Grand
Flint.
Trunk and Western.
Yeah.
Which is an actual railway system run through Ontario, Canada, down through Michigan, Ohio,
Oh, really?
Yep, him and
Hmm.
another fireman. They were returning from a meeting, and they crossed where there were no lights, and it hit them broadside about 55 miles an hour, and the rest is history.
Yeah, some things you and I have in common. We both lost our dads. I mean, I was 18 when he passed. I think you were much younger though.
Yeah, I was 9, but still, at any age, something that you never be able to recover from.
In 1976, you guys had actually split, but then Frank Zappa showed interest in producing an album for you guys. What led to that split, and what was it like getting together again and working on that album with Frank Zappa?
Well, actually, the way it went down was uh, the split didn't come until after Zappa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it happened when we were rehearsing for doing a live show to support the album that we just released. Good singing, good playing.
Yeah.
And Brewer walked into the rehearsal studio one day and said, and he was like an hour and a half late. He was never late for anything, so we wondered what the heck was going on. Thought maybe he had some car problems. And this was before cell phones,
Yeah.
you know. So we're waiting on him, and then when he pulls in, he walks in and he just announces, "Hey, I'm going to have to find something more stable to do with my life. I'm over it.
Hmm.
I'm calling it quits." And so he broke the band up, and everybody thinks that I did. I don't know why. I didn't. All I did was roll with the punches, and I'm where I'm at. But with the things that they obviously that were not truthful when they advertised themselves to be Grand Funk, and the guy that wrote over 90-some% of the music and sang over 90% is not going to be with them. They weren't truthful in presenting that,
Hmm.
and because they used deception to trick me into signing that 1/3 of the ownership of that corporation, and so those two guys turned on me.
Hmm.
I didn't know until I got a notice saying I was no longer an officer of the corporation, and I had been reduced to a mere shareholder. And I went, what? That it was deception. I believed Don when he told me things, and so when I signed it, it was under this deception. But I had to forgive those guys because if you don't, that kind of stuff will eat your lunch.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my power. That's my power, Brother Tom, and I am not going to fool around with using it negatively.
Why would they have you out of the band?
I don't know. I think it's personal between Don and what he assumes and myself, because Mel and I, we were best buddies. I mean, we rode dirt bikes together, man. We hung together.
Hmm.
Did boating. We vacationed together.
Could it have been maybe creative conflict or
Yeah.
sort of
Could have
thing?
been.
Huh.
Could have been, brother. Who
Uh,
knows? But it's not. It was not a truthful thing, and that's what got me. So, but I'm not going to go to court and waste my time. The Bible says stay out of the court. So I do my best to do exactly that.
all right, so switching gears a little bit, would you mind sharing your testimony with us and how you became a Christian?
Yeah, I was 9 years old when my dad died, and I had gone to church with my great grandmother, and but just Easter, on maybe 2 or 3 days a year on special occasions, and that's the only churching that I had.
Hmm.
And but when my dad died, I saw my mom just lose it. She was so in love with that man,
Yeah.
and he, being gone, and the letters that he wrote to her from Africa and from Germany, and I mean,
Yeah.
through 4. So very extremely blessed and lucky. And a
Yeah.
lot of prayers. So anyways, Billy Graham was on the television set, and I walked into the living room just as he was saying, "Are you hurting? Are you this and that? And do you need a touch from the Lord?" And I'm thinking, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
And I turn around. Yeah, I'm 9 years old, buddy. I think this guy is talking to me, and he was, because I responded. He says, "Walk over and put your hand on the television set." So I did.
Hmm.
And I prayed with Billy Graham.
Wow.
He was doing a crusade in Flint, Michigan. He was at Atwood Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium that they redid. Flint.
Hmm. So it was a local broadcast too.
Yeah,
on TV.
Broadcast.
Wow.
That was when I prayed it, and I received the Lord. But I believe too, after having my pacemaker put in and leaving this body and going into heaven, I was in there twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know all things. As soon as you leave the bone suit, you are present with God.
Yeah.
You know all things, and
Wow.
you even have a glimpse of the purpose of the earth years.
Hmm.
There's satisfaction. It's beyond. No one could tell you in human words. It is so beyond anything that you would even could prepare yourself for mentally.
Yeah.
For what it is. I mean, that's how powerful the love is. And I know that some people serve that love now. And those who get Jesus, who really get Jesus, are serving that love now. And when Jesus said, "These things and greater things shall ye do in my name," they just going, "Well, what could be greater than all these things you're doing? You're healing the sick, and making the blind to see, or raising the dead, and these things and greater things," that the Lord said. Well, how could it be? It could be with one person, with just one more person doing that. That would be greater than one. So that'd be 2 people.
Yeah.
Just like 2 puts 10,000 to flight when one only puts 1,000 to flight. You start doing that kind of math, and if you get those with a mind of Christ who are debt-free, completely debt-free, I'm talking, will not allow any kind of man-made debt or diversion to conscious and clean, healthy relationship with self.
Yeah.
The kingdom of heaven is within us.
How did you get into doing Christian music in the 80s, and what were your experiences in that industry?
Well, my experiences were somewhat jaded. I had some churches that wanted me to come in and do some programs for their youth, and I did some very big churches down in Florida, and it kind of chumped me, and I felt very slighted that they misused my trust and misused my ministry.
Mm.
That's to me, that's a very sacred part of who I am, and I don't want anybody misusing that and using it deceitfully. I hate deceit, and I hate bullies. I'm just so down on both.
Yeah, you were once a part of Ringo's all-star band.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got to see one of his more recent incarnations of the band a few years ago. Can you tell us how that came about, becoming a part of his band, and what it was like touring with him and the other artists in the band?
David Fishoff, who owns Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and also had done some promoting for Ringo, was looking to put a band together, and he called me because he admired me as an individual, and I admired him. I mean, we like each other. We're friends. He's a Jew, and he goes to the synagogue every morning, and I'm a Christian, and I got Jesus in my heart.
Yeah.
It's really, we get along really good. But he told me he's putting together a band, and if I'd wanted to, think about it, I said, there ain't no thinking about it. I would definitely do it. Be able to play with Ringo? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no kidding.
That would be a thrill, and it was good. It was really good to play with him. And we were over in Japan and sitting there, and Ringo was in the middle, just kind of like Jesus in the Last Supper, and in the middle, and the band goes down both sides. And this young lady came up, and she said, Mr. Farner, what is it like playing with dope? And I stood up and I said, listen, honey, Ringo puts his pants on one leg at a time. This is the same way I do it. and Ringo stood up and he hollers out, thank you, brother. And he comes down and gives me a big hug, because I recognize him as a man and a brother,
Yeah, that's true.
And a lot of people don't. They don't give him a chance to be. He's got to be Ringo Starr, whatever it is they think he is.
Yeah.
But, and it's caused him to be kind of bitter in a way. I've seen some of the links. Somebody sent me a link of him really just coming down on I think it was YouTube, saying, don't send me any other stuff to get autographed.
Oh, yeah.
Don't write me and all this. And he was really, really pissed. And so I know that just traveling with him for the short time that we did, that he can be short with people just because he's kind of sees it coming,
Yeah.
So he'll just hit it off in the past.
Yeah, I saw him talking on the Beatles anthology about how once the Beatles became huge, that the way everyone behaved around them changed.
Yeah.
No one acted normal. I think he really didn't like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. He's definitely much more of a human and sensitive musician, very sensitive, as far as his feelings. And I give him a lot of credit for what he does.
Well, let's talk about your son, Jesse. He was in a serious accident and he became paralyzed. How did that happen, and how's he doing now?
It happened backflipping off of a picnic table. Too much to drink. Too many guys going, come on. Especially this one guy kept just really needling him.
So peer pressure, basically.
Peer pressure, buddy. Oh, yeah. And then, because there were underage kids there, Jesse didn't want the law to show up there. So he laid in the back of a pickup truck for 11 and a half hours and missed his window of opportunity to arrest the edema that cost him his breathing.
Wow.
And if you can get somebody in within this 4-hour window, they give them, a pretty good chance of recovering and stopping the edema, and so that they can continue to breathe on their own. Now, Jesse, he's on life support. He's been on life support for years. And so it's a little hairier for him. Life is just a little tougher. He's got to make other considerations. And us, he lives with us here. But I'll tell you what, it's caused us to really have to depend on the Lord.
Yeah.
Because, other people, when we're looking for help to try to supplement to get somebody to come in and, we've got nurses who applied and came here and worked at the hospital 35 years, and when they saw Jesse was on life support, they turned right around and went, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
They went in the hospital, you hit a button and there's somebody there. But here it's like, oh, no, I'm not going to be responsible for this. I went, oh, man.
In closing, do you think there is any possibility of a reunion of the original Grand Funk?
Well, I asked Don the very same question. And in fact, I added that I heard from a fan that she had read somewhere that they asked Brewer, did he foresee Grand Funk ever getting back together? And he said, never say never, in answer to the question.
Yeah.
So I then said, is that true? Did you actually say that, or was that just hearsay? And he said, no, I say never say never. I said, well, that's good, because the fans, from what I understand, still would like to see the real deal.
Oh, yeah, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I would love to see the original band together.
Yeah, I would too, just for the fans' sake. I mean, so many fans around this world. I just got back from Guam, and a lot of military presence there, U.S. military presence,
Yeah.
but a lot of Japanese too. That's a wonderful place. Then we were in Brazil, and we were in Chile, and the fans would love to see Grand Funk rocking again.
Yeah.
For 20 years I've been trying to put those guys, back to where they'll at least they just keep blowing it off. It's just a way of them controlling. People want to see that footage of Shea Stadium. Well, they're not going to release it because it's the real band, not the one they're presenting.
Yeah.
They don't want people seeing that footage. They don't want them knowing I was the front man and the lead singer, and where's this guy? Where's this voice? They don't want that going on. And it's too bad for the fans.
Yeah.
Because that's out of a negative kind of, it's just, I believe they're off their path. I have to believe this.
Yeah.
Temporarily off their path, and I've been praying for them though.
Yeah, I hope that comes together one day. I mean, if it's meant to be,
Yeah, man.
I think that's about all the questions I have for you. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure is mine. If I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
All right.
All right, brother.
God bless and take care.